What would you do if a snake slithered into your house? Most people would scream, grab a broom, chase it out, or slam the door shut. But what about you? Did you know that in some ancient cultures, when an animal suddenly appears inside your home, it is not a coincidence? It is a message from the universe. There are creatures that seem ordinary, a bird that has lost its way, a stray golden cat, or even a bat hanging quietly outside your window, but they can carry invisible messages about wealth, changes in fortune, and spiritual protection. And if you have ever chased them away, you might have unknowingly turned away the very blessing that was knocking at your door. Leave a positive comment. I am ready to welcome abundance and protect it. Do not forget to subscribe so you will not miss the next mysterious signs. And stay until the end of this video, because the fifth animal will shock you to your core and may be the very reason why your luck has been delayed for so long. There are uninvited guests that appear quietly right in front of your doorstep. A golden cat standing still in the middle of your yard, a blackbird perched on your window ledge, or a butterfly gently circling your living room. Most of us would ignore them, or worse, immediately chase them away as if they were bad omens. But did you know that in feng shui and many ancient belief systems, certain animals appearing at your door are considered powerful signs of destiny? They do not show up randomly. You do not see them by chance, especially at moments when your mind is in turmoil, your finances have stalled, or your family life feels unbalanced. In many cultures, these animals are regarded as messengers, bringing a note from the universe that you are being watched over, that an opportunity or a challenge is near. Recognizing the sign at the right time can completely change the direction of your life. There was once a woman in Texas who shared her story. On the very day she received a foreclosure notice from the bank, a snake slithered into her kitchen. She screamed and drove it away. 3 weeks later, she lost her house to overwhelming debt. When she later watched this very video, she said, "I wish I had known that sooner." So, in this video, you will discover 5 animals that, if they enter your home, you should never chase away, not because of superstition, but because if you understand their meaning, they can be precious messages from the spiritual world. Number 1. The snake. The snake is one of the animals that most easily unsettles people. The first instinct when we see it is almost always fear, a reaction born from instinct, from evolution, from history. But sometimes the things that scare us the most are the ones we need to pay closest attention to. When a snake appears in your living space, even for just a moment, it can be a message the universe is sending, silent but powerful. Thousands of years ago, in many ancient cultures, snakes were not seen as bad omens. In Egypt, the image of a snake appeared on the crown of the pharaoh as a sacred symbol of protection. In Hinduism, a serpent coils around the neck of the god Shiva, representing mastery over primal instincts. In Western healing arts, the staff with 2 snakes coiled around it symbolizes medicine, balance, and rebirth. None of this is by accident. The snake represents primal wisdom, an understanding beyond words or teachings, born of deep intuition. One striking trait few people notice is the snake's ability to shed its skin. When the old skin becomes too tight, dry, or no longer fits, the snake does not cling to it. It lets it go, revealing a new, more sensitive, more alert self. This is a journey that is both powerful and solitary, and deeply symbolic for us. There are stages in life when we feel weary of who we have become, of old habits, outdated relationships, or versions of ourselves we no longer wish to hold on to. Yet we hesitate to release them. And then if you happen to see a snake during such a time, when your mind is restless and your energy is blocked, ask yourself, is this truly random? Snakes make no noise. They do not sound alarms or charge at you like predators. They simply appear, with a stillness that forces you to pause. And sometimes that silence is the loudest message. If a snake enters your home, especially in places like the kitchen, the entryway, or areas where you often sit alone, It may be a sign that energy in that space is unbalanced and needs cleansing, or perhaps you yourself are at a point where a personal shedding is needed, but you have not faced it yet. A woman once shared that on the very day she decided to divorce, after months of struggling to hold on to a broken marriage, she saw a snake slither across her porch. It did not enter. It stopped, lifted its head, then turned away. She stood still, strangely calm. Nothing mystical happened immediately afterward, but that moment gave her clarity. It was as if the universe was whispering, "Go, it is time." The snake's spiritual power does not lie in beauty or rarity. It lies in how it evokes fear, while also symbolizing strength in letting go. It does not come to scare you, it comes to test you. Are you ready to face change, to release what no longer serves you? Can you be still, like the snake, and listen to your inner voice? The snake is not an animal you need to keep, nor one you should fear. If it appears, especially during inner turmoil, see it as a sign, a doorway, a pause on your journey, asking whether to continue with your old skin or shed it and become something new. Animal number 2, the butterfly. When the snake departs, a messenger of instinct and transformation, sometimes the universe sends you a gentler signal, a softer yet profoundly deep message, the image of a butterfly. The butterfly does not arrive suddenly, it does not frighten you, it simply appears, quietly, as if it had been there all along, waiting for you to notice. There is something about butterflies that makes people stop. Even if you are rushing, confused, or lost, when a butterfly lands on your windowsill, rests on your hand, or simply flutters around you, you are pulled into the present moment. It feels as if time pauses, and that is no coincidence. In many ancient cultures, butterflies are seen as manifestations of the soul, a soul that has just departed its body, or one returning to send a message. In Mexico, butterflies are believed to be ancestral spirits visiting during Dia de Muertos. In Japan, they symbolize spiritual visitation. In Celtic culture, butterflies signify rebirth, a soul moving beyond darkness toward the light. Unlike the snake, which represents change from within, the butterfly embodies transformation born of struggle. Before earning its delicate wings, the butterfly was once a crawling caterpillar, silent, hidden in a dark, cramped cocoon. No one sees the pain it endures breaking free. No one hears its first breath of freedom. Perhaps you too are inside a cocoon, in a phase that feels stuck, no longer your old self, but not yet ready to emerge as something new. A time without names or explanations, suspended between exhaustion and quiet hope. Then one morning, you open a window and see a butterfly resting beside your flower pot. It does not rush, it does not fear you, and you simply stand there. 1 second, 2 seconds, then you smile. Some say, when a departed loved one visits you, they borrow the wings of a butterfly. Others whisper, every time a butterfly appears, it is a soul saying, do not give up. Whether you believe it or not, butterflies never arrive at the wrong time. They come when reassurance is needed, when your heart aches but still secretly hopes. In feng shui and energy work, butterflies symbolize light, pure energy and motion. If one enters your home, especially during a quiet day, it may be a sign your house is attracting positive energy, or that a loving spirit is trying to protect you from afar. Or perhaps it is your own soul reminding you, you can fly, you can emerge, you can become what you once thought impossible. A man once shared that after his wife passed from illness, he isolated himself in a small cabin in the mountains. He stopped playing music, stopped tending his garden. One day, as he stood silently by his window, a white butterfly landed on his finger and stayed for a long while. His heart warmed, not because the butterfly was beautiful, but because he saw in its eyes the gentle gaze he once knew from his wife. From that day, he returned to the garden. No miracles happened overnight, but he lived again, softly, bit by bit. And he would often say, "Sometimes healing arrives on butterfly wings." Animal number 3, the golden cat. After the quiet visit of the butterfly, the golden cat arrives with a clearer presence, as if the universe now wants you to truly pay attention. It does not hover. It does not vanish. It sits there, looking at you with wide, knowing eyes that seem to see everything you hide inside. Not everyone likes cats, especially stray ones. Some believe cats bring misfortune. Others see an uninvited cat entering their home as an intrusion. But if you listen to stories of those who have endured life's hardships, you will realize golden cats rarely show up by accident. They often appear during strange moments, after someone has passed, amid family unrest, or during your loneliest days, when you silently long for someone to simply sit with you, without words. One elderly woman shared that during her darkest months after losing her husband, she lived quietly in an old wooden house at the edge of the woods. She had never owned pets, even feared cats. But one day, she opened her door to find a thin golden cat lying quietly on the porch. It did not meow. It did not look up. It simply lay there, as if it had been waiting. She almost closed the door, but then she felt something stir inside her, a soft whisper, "Open your heart." From that day on, she left a bowl of water, then bits of food. The cat never entered the house, but appeared every morning at the same spot. Eventually, she began talking to it, sharing memories, griefs she could not share with anyone else. And strangely, in those quiet monologues, she began to heal. She smiled again. She watered her plants. She lived. Golden cats are often seen as symbols of luck and prosperity, like the maneki neko figurines in Japanese culture. But when a real golden cat appears at your door, not a statue, not decor, it is more than material luck. It is a spiritual gift, a reminder that you are still loved, still worthy of care, even when you feel invisible. Cats live on boundaries. They belong to no one, yet abandon no one. They arrive when needed, stay when accepted, and leave when their work is done. They do not beg for attention, yet you cannot ignore them. They teach us about true presence. No forcing, no clinging, simply being. Cats are also incredibly sensitive to energy. If your home holds heavy or negative energy, they stay away. But if a golden cat comes to you, it may mean your space radiates warmth, or that the cat has been sent to balance the quiet chaos around you. So if one day you open your door and see a golden cat waiting, do not chase it away. Do not slam the door as if telling the world, "I need nothing more." Let it near. You do not have to adopt it or bring it inside. Just pause and ask yourself, what part of me needs comfort? What part of me longs to be seen? Just as this cat looks at me without judgment. Sometimes, what you need to begin healing is not someone saying, "I understand you." It is a creature that cannot speak, does not need to understand, yet stays beside you. Quiet, unmoving, present, animal. Number 4, the strange bird. There are quiet mornings with no knock at the door, no gust of wind to stir the curtains, yet suddenly you see a bird perched on your window ledge. It does not seem frightened, nor does it fly away. It simply stands there, looking in, as if searching for an eye to meet, carrying an unspoken message. People often say that seeing a bird in the morning is a good omen, but not every bird is the same, and not every visit is coincidence. Some birds come bearing messages. Others appear to guide you through a turning point, not with words, but with a quiet assurance that you are not alone. I once lived in a small apartment with windows facing east. For years, nothing unusual happened. But during a time when I felt hollow, career stalled, relationships faded, sadness lingering each night, One morning I pulled the curtains and saw a small brown bird on the window frame. It did not sing. It simply tilted its head and looked at me. Most birds would fly off at the sight of a person, but this one stayed. I stood there, barely breathing, afraid that one small movement would scare it away, but it remained, as if waiting for me to respond. And I did. Not with anything dramatic, just with a smile. The first real smile I had in weeks. From that day on, it returned every morning. Same hour, same spot. A quiet reminder. You are still here, and you can begin again. Birds have long been symbols of the soul, of freedom, of connection between the physical and spiritual worlds. In many ancient cultures, when someone in the family passed away and a bird appeared near the window or sang on the roof, it was believed to be the departed soul saying goodbye. In other beliefs, a strange bird entering the house foretells great change, sometimes good news, sometimes a call to wake up and pay attention. For me, the deepest meaning was not the omen itself, but the presence of a fragile creature choosing to come close, right when I was forgetting that life still holds gentle miracles. Some explain it scientifically. Birds are drawn to spaces with light energy, to people radiating quiet yearning or unspoken prayers. You might not consciously call for anything, yet something within you is heard by the universe. That little bird is more than just an animal, it is a sign. A soft hand reaching out from another dimension, touching your heart, not to shake it, but to awaken it. You may find this mystical, but if one morning you happen to meet the gaze of a bird outside your window, and your heart slows, your soul grows still, as if hearing distant music, you will understand. Not every meeting needs words. Some souls only pass through your life for a brief moment, yet leave behind a faith that lasts forever. Animal number 5. The bat. I know many people shudder when they see a bat. It does not have soft fur like a cat, nor the cheerful song of a bird. It appears at night, hanging upside down from the rafters, a mysterious, almost eerie image. But let me tell you a different story, a different slice of what this strange presence can mean. The year I went through a divorce, my mind was chaotic, like an attic left abandoned, dusty, and filled with broken memories. I moved into an old wooden house on the edge of a small forest. Each night I heard faint rustling above, like wind brushing against wood, or something moving quietly in the rafters. One evening, as I sat in an armchair, reading under the dim glow of a lamp, a shadow swooped down, fast, silent. Then it hung upside down from a beam, right above me. A bat. My first instinct was fear. My heart raced. My hands trembled, almost dropping the book. But then, I stopped. There was no noise, no chaos. It did not fly at me. It simply stayed, watching, waiting for my reaction. I began to breathe slower, and for the first time, I truly looked at it. Its small black eyes, alert yet calm. Its upside-down posture, not of fear, but of acceptance. It did not resist the dark. It lived in it. It embraced it. Over the following days, I noticed the bat returned often, always around the same hour, when I was alone with unresolved thoughts. Strangely, its presence began to soothe me. The silence of it reminded me, darkness is not an enemy. It is simply another side of life. I later learned that in many ancient cultures, bats were not omens of bad luck. They represented profound transformation, the death of an old self, making way for a new chapter of the soul. In Chinese feng shui, bats symbolize blessings, because the word for bat sounds like the word for good fortune. In old paintings, 5 bats circling a ring represent the 5 blessings: long life, wealth, health, kindness, and peaceful death. Who would expect a creature of the night to be a messenger of good fortune? I cannot say the bat saved me, But I can say this, from the moment it appeared, I began to see life differently. I accepted that some losses do not need to be filled. They simply need space to dissolve, so something new can quietly grow. I realized light is not everything. Sometimes it is in darkness, where we think nothing exists, that the greatest transformations begin. If one day you see a bat hanging quietly under your eaves, do not rush to chase it away. Do not scream. Pause. Watch. It might be handing you an invisible map, guiding you out of darkness by walking into it, not by fleeing from it. Later, I changed my living space, not to drive away darkness, but to live with it. I placed a small oil lamp on the window, not too bright, just warm enough. I planted soft, trailing greenery so the house felt like it could breathe. And above my reading table, I hung an old painting I made myself of a lone bat flying across a fading moon. Strangely, these small changes made the house feel calm, not lonely, but still. Not missing someone, but enough to return to yourself. We all have a bat within us, the part that hides in shadows, avoids noise, feels out of place in the hectic world. But instead of hiding it, sometimes we only need to pause and listen. You may find it whispers the truest, deepest things. One night I opened my window to the breeze. The bat was gone, but I did not feel sad. I knew its work was done. It came to remind me, darkness is not the end. It is where transformation begins. We often expect change to arrive with something grand, an obvious opportunity, an exciting invitation, or someone appearing to pull us out of a stagnant phase. But the truth is, the universe rarely shouts. It sends messages in its own quiet way, softly, gently, sometimes through the arrival of a tiny creature at your doorstep. A snake in the kitchen is not always danger. It might be an invisible gatekeeper helping you cleanse. A butterfly on your windowsill is not merely a wandering insect. It might be a soul returning, or a whisper that you are healing. A golden cat in your yard, unafraid and unyielding, could be a sign that prosperity is at your door. A pair of swallows circling your roof is not coincidence. It may mean a new chapter of life is about to begin. And if you see a bat, silent, mysterious, cloaked in night, do not be afraid. Darkness does not always mean danger. Sometimes it is where blessings grow. All these creatures, from insects to birds to nocturnal mammals, can become messengers of deep movements you cannot see with your eyes. If you are sensitive enough, you will realize every life that crosses your path carries a message. What you need is not superstition, but presence, the willingness to listen. Modern life makes us forget how to communicate with nature. We are too busy, too anxious, too skeptical. But the signs still come without needing to be called. Slow down, look closer, open your heart. Then you will understand the universe has never been silent. We simply stopped listening. Life always finds a way to whisper to us, sometimes through dreams, sometimes through a stranger's words, and sometimes through a silent animal standing at your doorstep. You may not fully believe in feng shui. You may never have thought a bat or a butterfly could hold meaning, but if you look at everything around you with respect and attention, you will see that all things speak. The universe does not choose favorites. It sends signs to everyone. Only not everyone is still enough to hear them. If, after this video, you one day find an animal drawing near, be it a snake, cat, butterfly, or bird, do not wave it off. Pause, observe, and ask yourself, could this be a message? You do not have to understand everything, but if you open your heart, miracles often begin from there. And if you have had such an experience, share it in the comments. Your story might awaken someone else. Do not forget to follow the channel if you want to keep exploring these mysterious yet profound messages from the world around you. Because sometimes just one shift in perspective is enough to change an entire life. Like, share, and subscribe to join us on this journey of decoding the small signs the universe sends. Do not see everything as random. Because when you begin to see life as a chain of signs, life begins to answer you with miracles.